So content curation, let's talk about content curation for a minute. There's aggregated, curated, and created content. These are the three things that are how we define, putting information on your website. Aggregated content, well, let's talk about aggregated content. Aggregated content is the act of bringing together articles and all sorts of other digital content on a similar topic and grouping them together with no additional value at all put toward them. So basically, it's a listing. It's a listing of links. It's a listing of places to go. But what makes these links interesting and makes it easy to figure out where you want to go is that it is provided in a categorized way so you can easily find your subject matter. It's just like going to the library. So aggregation is primarily done by a machine. It's done by technology. And if you go to google.com/alerts, you get an idea of what aggregation is all about. So really, what is aggregation for? Well, when you don't have the time to curate your content, when you don't have the time to put your own face to the content, aggregation is actually a good way to get good real-time updates on your website. But the only problem with allowing a machine to throw links up on your website is that the quality and the sources of the content that it throws up there may or may not be what your readers are looking for, and it may or may not be exactly what it is you're trying to promote on your website. So that, in a nutshell, is what aggregation is all about. Now, you might look at a company like a website like the Drudge Report. It's basically an aggregator, and they do a very good job of aggregation. But now they've gotten or leaning more toward the curation side of things, which is good for them. So, content curation, let's talk about that. Content curation is the process of an individual like you or I. In this case, for tipsabouthealthyliving.com, it's Steve Gahagan, who leads his team of people who are producing articles for him, to consistently find, organize, annotate, and he shares the most relevant and highest quality information that he can find online. Effective curation involves human involvement. And Steve will tell you in the early days it took a lot of involvement until he figured it out. You can't perform it solely by a machine. You've got to have someone in the middle. You've got to have someone there to be selective. Content curation is something that needs to be done consistently. When you look at an art gallery, when they curate a project, they do it once and it's done, right? But when you're curating online, a curator is simply not regurgitating what he read. It's not about that at all. They are actually taking that information and skewing it in their way so it fits what they're trying to do, and in a way that focuses on the needs of their target market. And that's what curation really, truly is all about. So what's it good for? Why would you go about curating? Why would you do curation rather than creation? Well, when you think about curation, it's a good way of providing a consistent flow or a constant flow of quality information that your prospects are looking for. Plus, you're providing third-party perspectives to the original content that you've provided on your site, along with providing relevant content. Creating an online destination associated with a particular topic using curated content develops thought leadership, and it increases your brand equity, which means you become more profitable. And it increases the quality of your sales-ready leads, that is, those people ready to take the next step. But, you have to watch out. If you're not adding value, and if you're not taking the time to organize and, get it right, your curated content will absolutely increase in value to your audience if you take that time. So do that. You really, truly have to take the time. It's just not something that can be done there it is, there it goes. So spend a little time, take a little effort in trying to put in information that your contacts, your readers are really looking for. Here's the thing too. If you focus too much on one or two key websites, and we'll talk about this later in best practices, you have to ensure that you're curating from a number of sources. Just don't pick one. Because if you're just picking one, I don't know, you're almost pretty close to getting in a little bit of trouble with copyright issues. So for example, if Janet was writing a blog and someone was mirroring her blog by just simply taking her posts and reposting them, that's pretty much a copyright issue there. So, you know, content curation goes a step further than aggregation by adding that editorial component that only you can add. So content curation has emerged. It's only been around since 2010, and it's a powerful tool, especially for anyone who's trying to sell anything online. You know, I can think of a few people in the room here today, like Michael, who has a fledgling bird sanctuary going at his house, and I know that with his Facebook traffic and, you know, if he was to start, you know, curating content about all types of things about birds, then my goodness, he would drive traffic even tenfold. So let's talk about creation. What is creation? Well, it's when you're the author of an original piece of art, right? Or you're an illustrator, or you've created a piece of software. You become the content creator. You own the copyright. And what this allows you to do on your website is, you know, we're suggesting that you use all three, where you aggregate a bit, where you do a lot of content curation, and then I suggest once a week, or at least once every 2 weeks, you know, put a piece of your own content up there that lets you own the topic, that lets you start the conversation, and it allows you to provide your unique perspective. It truly sets you up as the leader in your particular niche, whatever that niche is. So you're providing information on a topic that's not covered by any of the sources you've been able to find online. So it's really cool to do that. It's really important to do that once in a while. So just don't rely on, you know, aggregation and content curation. So think about, you know, adding your own there as well. The important thing is to remember when getting involved in writing your own content that you need a lot of resources in order to do that. It takes a lot of time to write an original piece of work. Unless you were a professional writer, it would be absolutely almost impossible for you to provide your clients, your prospects, all the information that they require. And they will eventually go to your competitors in order to find what they're looking for. So think about, you know, original content, but you don't think about making your whole website original content, because that would be a lot of work, wouldn't it? That would be a lot of work. So there are three key players associated with content curation.